Hello, my Teaserking family. How's everybody? Today is Monday, March 4th. My picture. What do we want to talk about today? Well, the first thing I want to talk about is gold's price. Gold's price had jumped more and more and more. That's weird. It was up to 21.20. Do I got the right day? No, I don't have the right day. That was weird. I had yesterday's. Okay, gold is up $32 to 21.16. It had said 20.88, and I know I saw 21.20 a half hour ago. Silver's up to 23.83. I'll be curious to see silver break 30. Will be nice. So gold's 21.15, 21.16, up 32 more dollars. If we look for gold, well, it's one day. If you notice, the 10 o'clock drop didn't happen. So at 6 o'clock, it's there. At 8 o'clock, it's there. And all of a sudden at 10 o'clock, it doesn't go down, it goes up. So if London's done price fixing, the 10 o'clock price fix, we got a whole new ball game here. So 21.16. Now, if we can get rid of Comex, let the price go because of demand from Russia and China and BRICS and us, our little 2-ounce purchases, we will see it. If this breaks 23, it goes to 3, it goes to 5, it goes to 10. Because once people start realizing the boat's sinking, aka Titanic, once people realize that, then the panic and the frenzy happen, which hasn't happened yet, and it's not in silver yet. Silver's up a little bit, but not where it really should be, right? But here's gold up $32. Why isn't silver up $32, right? Basically. So again, the gold 21 just at 21.16, 32.73. So good news for our gold and silver. It looks like maybe Mark McGuire's right, and we're off of Comex. It's gone to Bitcoin and away from here. I was watching this video. Called Gold Isn't Rare, so why is it valuable? Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about gold prices, markets. What the fuck? It's all fun, right? There's 50 of these. Let's say it's worth $5,000. Why? Because there's more than 50 people who want it. And so it gets bid up. So I paid $50 for this. If I can get 10 grand for it, do I sell it? Maybe. There's some number that I'm going to say. It's 25 grand, it's gone, right? So it depends on demand and the fact it's low supply. So the fact there's only 50 helps, so supply's low, then it becomes a demand. If there's not 50 people, if we go to my Barry Bonds card, right? Gold, red label, gold label, red, Barry Bonds, 100 count, right? But it really doesn't have the value it should. It's Barry fucking Bonds. Oh, well, he did steroids, so it doesn't count that he hit 850 home runs. So even though there's 100, the demand's down because of the steroids. Well, football, you can do steroids. Nobody gives us shit. So not that Mahomes does, but the linemen do. So here's 50 count. But because it's Mahomes and he's won 3 Super Bowls, the demands, I want a Mahomes card now. And that's why you buy people that win the Super Bowl, not people that haven't won it yet. No, I love Joe Burrow, but I'm buying Mahomes ahead of Joe Burrow until Joe Burrow wins one. And it's fine to buy a Joe Burrow card and get for pretty cheap. I wouldn't pay a lot for Joe Burrow, but he's a great talent. But Mahomes is different. He's won 3 Super Bowls, and then he lost one to Brady. That's how good Brady is. Brady, at the end of his career, beat Mahomes twice. Once to keep him out of the Super Bowl, and the other one in the Super Bowl. So that's how good Brady is, because he's the only one that can beat. He's the only one that can beat Mahomes. But why? Where do we get a price from? Well, we get a price from people, from a market. People wanting the card. There's only 50 of them. So that brings demand in because it's only 50. If you have a regular Mahomes card and they printed 100,000, the demand's probably not there. Or the demand doesn't want to pay a lot. I don't have to pay a lot. They made too many of them. But in the one that's only 50, they know the value is going to stay because there's only 50 of them. And it's Mahomes. That drives more people in. Well, if I can get it for a good price. But the hugely produced card is like it's like inflation, right? There's too much of it. It doesn't have a good value. But the ones here where they haven't produced that many, only 50, they haven't inflated. So this is more like gold, right? So this is gold, and then this would be inflation, right? There's millions of these, not worth anything. Printed the dollars, they're not worth anything. There's only 50 of these. These are gold. They're very limited, and everybody wants it. So you can see this parallels money. But as long as there's a market, which is a buyer and a seller, so a market's created when there's somebody will buy what you're selling or smell what you're cooking if you're the Rock. So he wins another Super Bowl, another 100 people want the card. They only made 50. So the price goes up because they only made 50. But again, it's because of the demand. Partly because it's limited, partly because it's Mahomes, and because he's won 3 Super Bowls. That's what creates a better price to go up. There's a couple of factors that make it more demanded. Again, it's a market. So when we get to gold, why do people want it? Because it's money. Mostly because it's money, but it's very beautiful and you want it, and it's goes up in value because more people want it, right? And now that you got rid of Comex, and now the price is at $21.20 today, and now people are going to wake up and go, fuck, I didn't know it was money. I didn't know it was worth this much. It's never been over, 2050 or something, 21. And so as people start waking up to realize that it's really worth a whole lot more, and that's the question, why is gold worth so much? And it's because of demand. It's always, to get a value is demand. Rolex. You cannot sell a Rolex for 50 grand if nobody wanted it. Price is knowledge, is what the market says it is. So when you ask, well, why Why don't they sell gas at $100 a gallon? Because nobody wants it at $100 a gallon. Now, there's certain things that they do need it for, so you can get something, but they realize if it was $100, everybody would be on a bicycle, and they wouldn't get as much out of it. Sort of like the diamond monopoly by De Beers. They're one of the stupidest monopolies I've ever seen. In other words, gas gets it. Hey, we'll keep it at a couple dollars a gallon. People will continue to use it, and we'll gain on usage. Right? We'll sell millions of barrels or whatever. And De Beers is stupid because it's like $6,000 for a diamond. You got competition from the manufacturer, and you really don't have a demand for the market. You've killed the demand with the price. You would get a lot more if you sold them for $500 a piece. People would get diamonds, but at $6,000, especially in these times with the inflation, you're not going to sell any of them. And the only occasion you really buy them for is weddings. I gotta get my wife get her a diamond ring, and that's it. After that, I'm not buying her another diamond. Why not? If you made them normal price, I might get her a diamond every year for our anniversary or her birthday. But you've killed that because you made it too much. I can buy her flowers. I can buy her rubies and sapphires. I can buy her gold. I don't need diamonds. So the only need for diamond is the wedding, which I'm not sure you need a real diamond. You can probably get a fake diamond. She's happy she's getting a diamond. She can say, look at the diamond I got, to her friends, because that's what she wants to do. And you say, look, I'll get you the manufactured one, and the other $5,000 will go on a trip. We'll buy something for her. I'll buy you a car, whatever. I can buy you other things with the other money. And then they'd probably say, okay, that's fine, unless you're really loaded. But normal people, I'll get you let me get you the manufactured, and we'll go on a nice vacation and buy you nice clothes. And, I'll use the money to buy you stuff that you can use every day, not a diamond that basically is worthless. So, worst monopoly in the world, De Beers. They just don't get. They'd be much better off pricing them at $500 to $1,000. You get it for your wedding ring, and then you buy it for birthdays and Christmas present and everything else. You could buy it. It'd be a nice gift, but not at $6,000 out of their fucking minds. So why is gold so expensive? It's money, so it's used. It's got a use. I don't like the hedge against inflation. Well, that's what it is, but I don't get where it's protection. It's not protection. This is this card protection. This card's probably worth more than gold right now, because gold's 2,000 an ounce, 2,100. This is worth more than 2,100. Do I consider this a hedge against inflation? Absolutely not. This is an investment. It's an asset. So how is gold not an investment and an asset? Well, gold only is good if the money's bad. Why? This is good if the money's good or bad. Gold is an asset, and it's technically an investment in its money. It's a multiple purpose thing. It's not just if the dollar goes bad, then gold's good. That's bullshit. Is a Rolex only good when the dollar is bad? Is the Mahomes card? Is a Picasso? No, they're investments. They are assets. The 1906, was it the Hannes Wagner card? T2, tops 206. And there's 6 of them made, and it's $1 million, $2 million. Is that only good when the dollar's bad? No. It's all a market. If you want to own gold, it doesn't matter if the dollar's good or bad. It is not necessarily a hedge against inflation, although it is the same as the Mahomes card. Is this a hedge against inflation? Well, technically, yes, but not while you're buying it. So the dollar, getting ruined by George Soros has really nothing to do with the gold price. In fact, the gold price should be much, much higher than it is because it is price fixed by paper gold. You have to understand that there is price fixing, and Comex derivatives keep the price down because they basically inflate it. So if I did a derivative on this, there's only 50. But if I did a derivative, I'd do the derivative as if I had 2,000 of them. So my paper Mahomes' derivative is 2,000, but wait, they only made 50. How can you paper derivative 2,000? That's the Ponzi scheme, right? They only made 50 if you have physical. And it's a much higher price than if you do derivatives on this. Same thing with gold. They don't make that much, but if you have it in your hand, it's not all the extra bullshit of the derivatives. And hopefully that's gone to Bitcoin late. They can have it as they struggle to figure out that they're not money either. So gold, A, is money. B, it's going to protect us. C, hopefully just becomes like Mahomes, where there's a supply-demand market of physical gold. But the kicker is, as the dollars go out in all the countries, right? Russia, China, Japan, Switzerland, Britain, the euros, the Asia, Africa, as all these dollars go out, they're not going to run to the Mahomes card to save them. They're going to run to the gold as money. And that's where gold has it. It is money. And that's why gold's so valuable, because people will buy it for money, which, because it's money, makes the demand stronger for it. And there's no more supply. So it makes the demand stronger. And if it makes the demand stronger, the price goes up. So because he's won 3 Super Bowls, let's compare gold to Mahomes. Mahomes has now won 3 Super Bowls, which makes demand for Mahomes go up, because now everybody go, oh, wow, look at he's like Brady. His cards are going to go through the roof. I want his card. He's won 3 Super Bowls, and there's 50 of them. So the demand for this card has gone up for many reasons, but the fact, A, it's got 50, and B, he's won 3 Super Bowls. So as more demand comes in, this price keeps going up and up and up. So as the dollars keep going out, the demand for gold, because it's the only place to go to, goes up and up and up, which makes the price go up and up and up with the demand. With Comex, they've been, even though the demand's up, it's disjointed. The demand is not pushing the price up like it does on Mahomes cards. It's not even being considered. All these people buying gold, all the central banks buying gold, but yet the price isn't going up to where it should, based on it being physical, because of these derivatives, which are totally illegal. And I can't believe people actually allow that. Just like I can't believe nobody's countering Soros. See, just wait till he fucks with Putin. If he starts fucking with Putin or she, he's gone. Putin ain't going to put up with this shit. We got idiots running our country, so they let Soros fix all the elections, the judges and the district attorneys and the prosecutors, and we sit there and go, "Oh, that's good. We'll keep our people in." I mean, they don't see the problem with it. Believe me, if he fucked with Russia, he'd be dead in 5 minutes. Putin wouldn't take it. I'm starting to like Russia more than the U.S. So with that said, the demand for the gold goes up because of that. If we kill Comex and get a physical price, and we don't let the paper price come in, then gold should be much, much higher. It should be higher just because it's gold, but the Comex has kept the price down. And that's where these people, I'm amazed how stupid people in the U.S. are about gold. I was listening to some idiot this morning. Let's go to my idiot this morning.
that YouTube was on this scam. Those $6,400 ads that you see, I never thought that YouTube was in.
But having said all of that, it just.
So if you ever,
words can't describe.
If you ever seen this idiot Ron, he doesn't
steal $300 billion of another country's reserves.
He could be the stupidest guy I've ever seen. So here's my comments, of course. I leave 2 comments. He doesn't understand gold is price fixed. Paper gold derivatives. What a loser. I guess he's scared to show his face. Shake my head. A real idiot. This guest absolutely clueless. Gold 20,000, silver 2,000 soon. And I sign it, the professor. So he doesn't get it's paper. He makes a comment like, well, if it is price fixed. And then I go, your guest is an idiot Keynesian. I like to really rub it in calling them Keynesians. So let's get to his gold thing. All right, gold's near the end. See, this guy, K whatever, has a lot of strange guests on. Or he'll have Alligator on once in a while. And then he has then he has a guy like this on, and you're like, what the fuck? Either have Alligator on or don't have Alligator on. We don't want to hear 25 different opinions on it, because then you're not getting the answer. Hey, Greg, good job. Let's see. Where's his gold? First, I thought he didn't have it on. It's really near the end. See, I hate when people, like, you think they're smart, they sound smart, but this is what I'm here for, to say, but he's not smart. All right. All right, so 33.10.
$1,000 level for quite a while now. And the question, again, it's pretty much similar question as the opening question, is how geopolitical is the gold price right now, and then what's keeping it where it is?
Well, it ties a lot of things we've talked about here today. I think there are 2 main sort of obsessions, I would say, or areas of interest amongst gold enthusiasts that looks set to be resolved in 2024, which is what we wrote about in a piece called Golden Resolution. One is, if they do reach for these sanctions, I think gold inevitably will reassert its place as a neutral reserve asset for the settling of trade imbalances. And I think you'll see a scramble for gold amongst the ongoing scramble for gold, an accelerated scramble for gold by the central banks around the world, especially those that are concerned about someday finding themselves in the crosshairs of the American and European elite. The second, of course, is this long suspected belief that the paper price of gold is being suppressed by the Western banks at the behest of, presumably, the BIS and other central banks in the West. The opening of the Shanghai Gold Exchange, something Luke Groman has chronicled for years. I think he's been pretty prescient on this. Luke Groman over at Force for the Trees, I always like to give credit for where I learn things. The fact that there is a premium for the price of gold in Shanghai is opening up an arbitrage that ultimately, taken to its extreme, will empty the vaults in New York and London if that premium remains. And just pulling up the data as we're talking, but it has been substantial. It's like $30 an ounce today, down from $40 last week, as high as $90 the week before. $30 to $40 an ounce premium means you can get long in London, stand for delivery, and cover your short in Shanghai and pocket the difference. And the net effect of that is gold leaves London and goes to Shanghai. And if the Chinese are doing this ahead of gold's reemergence as a neutral reserve asset for the settlement of trade imbalances, then that's a pretty shrewd move on the part of the Chinese. And it might be happening right under our nose. And there's only so much gold. So eventually, if the price is in fact being suppressed, and to be very clear, not saying it is, I'm saying many people believe it is.
Okay, he doesn't know. And then he says it's keeping the paper price of gold down. It's keeping the physical price of gold down, not the paper price. The paper price is the derivative. This guy doesn't get a clue, doesn't think it's being suppressed. Why is this guy on your show if he doesn't understand the simplest thing? What do you mean you don't? You think if it is suppressed? Of course it's suppressed. That's the basic concept. The derivatives are shorting the price, are lowering the price. And there's not that much gold that the derivative's doing. So like I said, the derivative is saying, I'm going to short 5,000 Mahomes cards. There's only 50. So of course you're lowering the price. How does he miss this? And you got this guy as a guest and he doesn't even understand the difference between paper and physical gold, and he doesn't understand the derivatives are keeping the price. If it is, he doesn't know. Oh my God. So if I ever see this, and I said, why does he not show his face? What is he, like the ugliest man in the world, or is he just the stupidest, or he doesn't want people to come up to him and say, hey, you're a real idiot? All right.
That bluff is going to be called by the Chinese this year. And eventually, if the price is being suppressed, the relief valve has to be opened and prices will have to converge to stop the flow of gold from the west to the east. And so both of these things look set to resolve this year. And we'll see. I'm bullish gold because I like gold. It's a savings vehicle for us. It's not an investment. And I've often said if we wake up tomorrow and gold is not 2,050, but 5,050, that's probably bad news for the rest of your portfolio. It's probably bad news for the country.
So again, the guy's clueless. It is an investment. You shouldn't be in any other investments. So in other words, if gold's 5,000 tomorrow, that's because the paper's defaulted and all the stocks and the whole Titanic. Why are you in your other investments? The guy's clueless to Titanic. The guy's clueless to the whole system. What a fucking moron.
Something big has happened. And yes, been partially insulated against it, but that's tantamount to being happy when your house burns down because you had insurance. Like, this is not the way we think about it, but it's certainly possible.
Yeah, absolutely. If gold hits $5,500, you can't step outside anymore. At least the way I'm thinking about it. So
why not?
It's a crazy world out there, Doomberg. So much going on. Really, really appreciate you putting a lot of perspective around many things for us, clarifying. Like the oil and gas market for me is not my forte. That's why I love talking to you every time we catch up every 3 to 4 months.
So the guy basically is clueless. We can't wait for gold to hit 10,000 an ounce because we're prepared. We're out of stocks and bonds and we're in gold. So it makes our portfolio go up. Just like getting Mahomes as a 2-point underdog in the Super Bowl. We loved it. So I don't get I got insurance. So the house burns down. I'm happy. Why are you in these paper assets? You're in the Ponzi scheme. He doesn't even understand that. This is the problem I have with idiots like this. They're in the Ponzi scheme. So what he's saying is all my other investments will go down and I'll lose money on them, but the gold goes up. So he doesn't have enough gold. He's in investments he shouldn't be in because he doesn't understand what's going on. Probably doesn't understand the dollar going to zero, and then everything else goes. So you have to prepare for that. He's not prepared for it. He doesn't understand it. He doesn't understand economics. I don't know what this idiot is, but I see a cartoon character. Somebody told me, what, a couple of years ago, oh, you live in an apartment. I can't take you seriously because you don't live in a big fancy house. I'm not Warren Buffett. And we all laughed at him saying, when I moved back from Alabama, why would I buy a house now when the values are going to go drop? I'll wait and buy a house with my gold. Why would I buy one now? And this guy's a cartoon character. I mean, why would I listen to a cartoon character? Well, he made sense if he understood it. But Egon's Egon, and I'm me, and alligator's alligator. What is this guy's problem? He's just fucking clueless. Yet, do you want to sell him as he knows what he's talking about? I certainly don't. This was one day ago. Well, if it is price fixed, okay, that's the first and easiest thing to figure out, that the price is fixed. What am I talking about, Greg? Are we talking about football now? You always vampire at the wrong time. Well, that's George Soros, right? You asked the question, why don't anybody know? And I showed you George Soros yesterday, right? You said, who's George Soros? And I said, he's a Nazi, and he wants revenge for the Nazis losing, and he's trying to take down Western America. And why nobody's sitting there arresting this guy is beyond me. But that's why nobody knows, because he won't let it be taught, because that is the answer. So this idiot thinks, well, it's good to have the insurance. And you're like, this gold is not an insurance. This is what I started the show with. This is not insurance. This is a 50 count Mahomes card. This is an asset. A Rolex is not insurance. It's also an investment and an asset. And gold is an investment and an asset. Why is gold not an investment? Why is it not an asset? Why do people think gold's insurance? It's only good if the dollar crashes. No. Is this only good if the dollar crashes? No, this is good anytime. So is gold. Gold is good as an asset. The problem is people are so brainwashed into believing it's only good when the dollar collapses. Well, I got news for you. The dollar's collapsing all over the world. Multiply that to infinity, and quoting Nicho Black, it's a lot. What did he say? Something like multiply that by infinity. So the point is that gold is money, and it's the only money. And all these people in these currencies are all going to go broke. And if you're that stupid that you're still in them, don't come to me and then wonder, well, yeah, the house burnt down, but I have the insurance. Gold's not the insurance. Gold's an asset and an investment like anything else. You can say it's not an investment, but it is. I mean, how is that different than Mahomes? See, I'm trying to understand the difference. This is an investment. This is an asset. Gold is an asset, and gold is an investment. Gold will go up because it's been suppressed. Gold is money. Now, is money an investment? Paper dollars would be if they didn't print them to zero and they do derivatives on them. And they're holding paper. He said they're holding paper gold down. No, they're holding physical gold down because there is no physical price. And yes, of course, if he doesn't understand that they're doing derivatives, keeping the price down, what is he doing? what is Doomberg? This guy's the stupidest idiot I've ever seen in my life. So anyway, I made my 2 cents. So anyway, that's why I get kind of like startled, is people like that are too stupid to understand what's really going on. And as Gregor John says, most people are clueless, but most people aren't doing little shows on YouTube stating how smart they are, stating what they think's going to happen. He's talking about oil and other stuff. But gold is not insurance. I hate to break it to you. Gold is an asset and an investment, just like a Mahomes card, just like a Mantle card, just like Microsoft. It's the same fucking thing. What's better about gold is you can't print it. Gold's in the ground. You either dig it out or you don't. You can't print it. You can't find it. You can't do much with it. And that's what happened. So if you left it alone and didn't price fix it, it would be like the Mahomes card. And as more currencies are going out and people are that stupid that they think it's only got a value if the dollar goes out, well, let's not, I hate to break it to everybody, but all the dollars are going out. There is no safe dollar to go to. So in that case, it is an investment. And if they broke up Comex, the thing's going to go to 10 grand easy, and silver will be right behind it. You're welcome, Greg and John. I don't really care about J.C. Kelsey. I don't even know who he is. The tight end, he's not the tight end, is he? I thought that's Travis Kelsey. So I don't know who he is. I don't really care, and I don't get the point, Greg. In the middle of what we're talking about, I don't really get the point of it. We can talk sports when we talk sports, but when we're talking gold and we're showing this idiot, it's not the time to bring up Jason Kelsey or Travis Kelsey or any of these bums that, you know, aren't real players. Know what? So again, gold is an asset like a Picasso, like a Rolex, like the Mahomes card. There's no difference. It's an asset. It's got a market. If I sell it, somebody will buy it. That's a market. Gold has a huge market, but gold is not, for some reason, priced at that market. So if we all bought 1,000 ounces of gold in our class, the price wouldn't move at all based on our buying it, which it should. This card moves if I put an auction and it goes to 5,000, then another auction, it goes to 5,500. The price goes to whatever's the last auction. But you don't even auction for gold or silver. So how do you really know the price? You can't. Is it price fixed? For him to ask that question shows how stupid he really is. How do you ask that question? Are the derivatives fake? Do you understand what a derivative it is? Do you understand they're shorting gold, knocking the price down? Do you understand when they do a derivative, it's not 1 ounce of gold for one derivative, but 1,000 ounces, 5,000 ounces of gold for the derivative? So you're selling 5,000 ounces of gold you don't have, and you're shorting it. So you're lowering the price. Yeah, that's pretty much fucking price fixing. So don't get on these channels. So if you see this cartoon character, just give him a negative. Tell him to go fuck off, because he's part of the problem. He's not part of the solution. That's why my quote Die Hard. And he's not going to join us on the beach earning 20% because he's too stupid to be in gold. Gold is all you, if you're in the market now, or you're buying real estate trusts, or you're buying any of that, you're a fucking idiot. It's a Ponzi scheme. Get the fuck out of paper. Get out of paper, get off the Titanic, and go get into gold boat. And then if gold goes to 5,000, how happy are you going to be? Did your house burn down? No. In fact, you bought a new house with the 5,000. When gold goes to 5,000 and 10,000, I'm going to be dancing, not going, well, my house burnt down. What the fuck does that even mean? My house burnt down. So if you're an idiot and into stocks, you get what you deserve. You're not very bright. Just Eagles fans care. I don't know what you're talking about. Eagles fans care. Okay, whatever. So again, a market is where a seller and a buyer meet. And you can only have a market as you sell something and somebody's willing to buy it. And that's why I'm against electric cars, because you don't have a market. You got Tesla selling them and nobody wants to buy them at the price you want to sell them for. And in fact, after all this bullshit of charging the car and it's rusting out in the rain and in the snow and the cold, it doesn't work and they catch on fire, I'm not sure you have a market for it. And you're trying to force it down people's throats. Now I question how smart Elon Musk is. What's wrong with the gas-powered car? You think they're going to stop using oil? Are you out of your fucking mind? Between Russia and Saudi Arabia, you think they're all of a sudden going to stop oil? What are you, crazy? So if the U.S. wants to get off of oil, they're out of their fucking minds. So this is all George Soros, and if you're falling for it, then I feel sorry for you. Anything coming from George Soros is a Nazi propaganda thing, and it's not good for you. So just ignore George Soros. We hope he pisses off Putin, and Putin will kill him. And that's he'll do something. Our guys are a bunch of fucking idiots, and we let him get into the CIA and the FBI and the prosecutors and the judges. We let him do all this. Who the fuck's running this country? And I blame Trump because he was doing it with Trump. That's why Trump lost the election, because he let Soros. He didn't get Soros. So I don't really like Trump. If he didn't get Soros, if he's too stupid to know Soros is the bad guy here, he's only a Nazi. And if he didn't do anything, then what's he going to do the next 4 years? Is he going to kill Soros or is he going to let him go? And he's in his 90s. So what the fuck? So I don't know. I'm not all sold on Trump's the savior here. He's not Marcus Aurelius. That's for sure. Anyway, so why gold's going through the roof? Why are you mad about it? You're only mad about it is if you didn't buy it or if you bought Bitcoin, but I got like an idiot thinking that had a value. All right. So we see Comex up. We see it's 21.21. Let's see if it's gone higher. 21.16. So it's up $32 to 21.16. And at about 9 o'clock, it jumped, and it still jumped, and it didn't come down. So it's a positive that we didn't get the 10 o'clock drop. Now, see how efficient and how I look at things. 10 o'clock drop, 10 o'clock drop, 10 o'clock drop. Now I don't see the 10 o'clock drop. Now my trend's changing. This is what I tell you about trend analysis. The trend changed. Do you want to keep going with the 10 o'clock trend? Or let's wait a week or two and see if we get the 10 o'clock drop or we don't. Let's watch this for the next 2 weeks. And if we don't get the 10 o'clock trend down, we're gonna be worth a fortune. I couldn't be happier at 5,000 an ounce. What am I missing? The house burnt down. What does that mean? Your house burnt down. Oh, so you could use the insurance. Gold isn't an insurance. I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. It's an asset and it's an investment like everything else, like a Mahomes card, like a Rolex. There's no difference between gold and a Rolex. Hate to break it to you, buddy. It's an asset. It has a value. It's a demand. There's a market for it. People bid it. If you would let the price run, you'd have a huge market for it, and it'd be worth a lot more. That's why you're backing your dollar by gold. You can't print it. Does not make it insurance. And if you think it's insurance, you're a fucking idiot. And this guy's a fucking idiot, Dilbert or whatever, dingbat. Silver 20. Look at silver 23. We're going to 24. We're going to go to 25, and then hopefully we break 30 and get to 30 and Katie bar the door. It's gone. My birthday is Thursday, so I might have to go buy like another 20 ounces of silver for my birthday. It's my birthday. Well, what I'm planning is going to play poker on my birthday, because if I can't win on my lucky day, there's a problem. And then, so if I usually play 300, 1-2, no limit, MGM, take 300 out. I either win, or if I lose the 3, I get up and leave because I'm an idiot. If I can't win with $300, I shouldn't be playing. And then taking all that money and buying silver with it. So I hope I win 300 or 400. Then I might buy another quarter ounce of gold. Who knows? But you can see, now you see it's not waiting for us. 21.16, 23.92. It's not waiting anymore. The boat's leaving. We're finally on the gold boat, and the gold boat's finally weighing acre. And you better get off the Titanic, because the gold boat's leaving. When the gold boat hits 10 grand, now what are you going to do? I mean, you got to be kidding me. And that's where it's headed, and we're, I think, finally getting it. So keep your eye on that. And my last word to that idiot, because he's got me bothered that he's this stupid and he's doing shows. So if we look at our watch list, we're now up to 2194, 2200. Brady's 4 million. 2234 on the Eagle. That's really moving. So how is gold? Explain to me the difference between gold what's the difference between my Montana card at 125? Let's do this. Okay, what's the difference between Montana at 125, Michael Jordan at 500, and my gold at 22? What's the difference? Are these not insurance? If the dollar crashes, don't I have Montana and Jordan as my insurance? Why is my gold insurance but not my Montana insurance? They're the same thing. These are assets that have a value in a market. What the fuck are they talking about? So gold's really not 2234. Add at least 1 0 to it. It's at least 22,000, 20,000. Once you get rid of the Comex and once you get rid of the paper, the physicals are worth a lot more, probably the same as the. Look at, you're getting 125 grand from Montana. You're telling me this ain't worth 125 grand for the gold coin? Because the gold coin's real money, and the Montana is not real money, but does have the value. And there's silver up to 32. So you got to tell me, so is the Montana insurance? No, it's an investment. It's an asset. Why wouldn't gold be an investment in an asset? It's going up. Explain investment to me. You're buying something hoping it goes up. Is Bitcoin an investment? Sure it is. You're buying it hoping it goes up. What's an investment? You're trying to make money at it. Why isn't this an investment? It was 2,000, now it's 2234. We know this is an investment, but you're probably not going to get much more than 500. And we know Montana's an investment. I bought mine for $50, maybe 100. Now I got to get it graded 10. I might get a 9, but that's definitely an investment. As this is going up too. It's 30, it's 32. So how is this insurance? Why is this insurance, but these are investments? See, the difference is the free market. There is no paper Montana or paper Jordan keeping the price down. There is price fixing going on with the gold, but not here. Do I care if the dollar's strong or weak? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. if you allow the free market to operate, gold is not an investment. It's not the house burns down and you're happy you have the gold, or you need the house to burn down for the gold to go up. That's Keynesian talk. That's idiot talk. That's not people that understand what the hell they're talking about. These are idiots. So there's no difference between my Mahomes card, the Montana card, the Jordan card, and gold. It's all the same. It's all assets worth money. And again, I struggle to see how Montana gets 125 grand and gold gets 2,000 when gold's worth more. Gold's at least gold. I mean, it's a, the Montana, he's nice, but it's a card. But yeah. So then it gets you to the point, what's an investment? And why is gold insurance? Why is it considered insurance? What the fuck are you talking about? So if the dollar goes out, gold will have value. So will the Montana and the Jordan and the Brady and the Mahomes card will have value. Actually, they will get rooted in gold, right? So when the dollar goes out, I bet the guy doesn't even understand that. Probably doesn't understand inflation. So when the dollar goes out, the Montana goes to $0 and it gets repriced in gold. What's he worth in gold? That'll be the difference. And that's gold will be worth gold. Gold is not insurance. What the dollar goes out, gold will have a value if the dollar goes out or not. If you get the derivatives off of it, gold's value would be much, much higher. And the dollar is never insurance because it's inflated. It's printed. All right. So I think we hit that on the head. Now let's talk about, is this price fixed? Is this the fair price? So if this is on eBay and it's worth $5,000, is that the real price? Well, what I found, if you have a Beckett, which is a sports guide, I found they were doing price fixing. How did I get my Montana card for like $100 in the mid 90s, and it's worth 125 grand now? So I got it. Let's say I paid $100 because I didn't pay much more than that, which is why I didn't get the Jordan rookie because it was like 500. And I said, well, I'll spend up to 100 on the card because I'm afraid they won't keep a value or have a value because they're overprinted. The only thing the Montana and the Rice rookies have it's PSA 10s. PSA 9s will not have that value. And regular cards that aren't graded. So what Beckett did was they don't call it graded. It's sort of like a near mint 8. That's Beckett. So the Montana card in Beckett, which is really PSA 8, but they don't say it, near mint is $500. But if it's graded a 10, it's $125,000. Is that price fixing? Is that the same as doing derivatives on gold, as not really showing the accurate price of the Montana rookie? Now that's off of an auction on eBay. It is 125 because that's what it is on the auction. That's what the market tells us. And so Beckett, that's why I tell Nick and whoever else goes to a card show to go ahead, and if you see a very good Montana, a very good Earl Campbell rookie or Walter Payton rookie, any of those guys, rookie cards, and they are dead on, sweet, centered, and good coloring, good corners, and you go, yeah, this is a 10. This is at least a 9, let's say. And you buy it because it's going to be dirt cheap. They're not really getting the correct price in for the quality of the card. So each card really needs 4 or 5 prices. PSA 10 Montana, PSA 9 Montana, PSA 8 Montana, PSA 7 Montana, and an ungraded Montana. So there's got to be 5 columns, basically. Well, at least 3. PSA 10, which is going to be way more, PSA 9, PSA 8, and then not graded. And that's how the Beckett should be, because what I'm telling Nick to do, and anybody else going to a card show, is get a $125,000 Montana for $500. Because if it isn't graded, can you tell if it's a 10? I can tell. There's 4 points. Centering, corners are sharp, the pitcher's sharp, and there's no scratches or pen marks or anything on the pitcher. If you have all 4 of those, you got a 10. Now, it's hard to get a Montana and a Michael Jordan rookie card centered. The 86 flare, there was a lot of kind of out of focus and a lot of off-centered. And then on the 81 Topps Montana, same thing. And the 86 Rice and the 84 Elway and Marino cards. I got all those. It took fucking months to get them where they were not 80-20 centering, but actually a nice 55-45. I mean, they didn't come out with really nice centered cards. Now on the older ones, they're new. Even on this one, I mean, Bobby's card. So this is the 87 Dunrose. I got it for the, no offense, Bobby, for the Barry rookie, and there's a Greg Maddox rookie in here. And you can see, though, these are, see how centered these are. See the corners, how sharp they are. So it's sharp corners. It's centering. There's no ink marks or anything on the card. The back looks good. Now, you kind of hold it in the light, and you're looking for scratches. Is there scratches on the card? Is there a ink mark? No. This should be a 10. I don't know why not. Good corners, good centering, good pitcher, and it's got Bobby Bow on it. Or, excuse me, Roberto Martin Antonio Bonilla. What's with all the names, Bobby? They couldn't just name you Bobby Bow. They got to go with 4 names. And so you can see everything looks good, no ink. So this should get a 10 because the corners are sharp, the centering's good, the pitcher's good, and there's no ink marks, no scratches. So if you walk into a sports show and you look at that Montana rookie, and so you go to the show and you go, okay, let's look at it. This is the 10. So you go, yeah, pretty fucking centered. And it's got to be top to bottom and side to side. How are the corners? They're not mudged. How's the coloring and the picture? Looks pretty fucking good. Some of these are out of focus. And then you go to the back of the card and you're looking for the same thing. Oh, come on, man. It's one of these that doesn't hold it. But again, you're looking for, what the fuck? So again, you're looking initially for the corners and the centering. You can see it's 50-50, the same on each side and top to bottom. Looks pretty good. Any ink marks? No. Any creases? No. Any little scuffs? No. Okay, but look at the color. It's a very pretty, the green, the yellow, and the red are very nice. So you can make it out. It's clean, no pictures. Now, if you can see this for $100 at the card show, and you see something in this condition, and you can see he's getting $125,000 on an auction in eBay, I would suggest you buy as many as you can find that look like that, and good luck. You won't find, I doubt you'll find one that good. The one I have is a little bit 55-45 centering. Otherwise, it's good. And a lot of them came 40-60, 70-30 centering. Now, in this condition, in this card, don't know what I was talking. In this card, considering the problem, that's what I was trying to say, considering the problem that it has being centered, and they know that, right? So considering the problem of it being really tough to find a 50-50, if it's 60-40, they will still give it a 10. You can get a 10 with the 60-40, so it doesn't have to be 50-50 to get a 10. If everything looks good, you could still get a 10. So that's what I'm hoping for when I send my card in to get the 10. I got the Rice, the Marino, the Oway. Now look at Marino. Look at the difference in Marino and Montana. Marino's card is nowhere near 100,000. Why? Well, because he didn't win any Super Bowls. So the demand for Marino is not equal to the demand for Montana. Everybody loves Montana, went to Notre Dame and the Niners, so you pick up all the Notre Dame fans. Marino went to Pitt. Who cares? And so the demand's much stronger. And then that, and there's probably more PSA 10 Marinos than PSA 10 Montanas because the Marinos were a little easier to get a 10, although they were still difficult. Or when I would go to the card shows looking for them, they left the perfectly centered ones at home and brought the ones that are off center, but I don't buy that. Maybe they did, but I don't think any of the dealers were that intelligent to think like that. If he had a Montana, he brought it. If he had the Marino, he bought it. He brought it. I got the Bobby Orr that is full centered and everything. So the dealers came, but the dealers fucked themselves because it was really just before grading had came. This was early to mid 90s. Grading kind of came out late 90s. So you didn't know the card. If you had the Montana rookie, I have a 10. I don't know. It's at least a 9. It's fucking sharp. It's a little off center, but it's fucking sharp. I didn't know it was 125,000. Let's say I paid $100 for it in the 1990s, and that's what it booked for, maybe 150. And I got it for 100. I had nowhere in my wildest dreams or fantasies that I think that card would be worth 125,000. No fucking way. Or the Jordan. I could have got the Jordan for 500, but it wasn't. You couldn't really find one perfectly centered. I got one. I got an Elijah one that's just a dead 10. But everybody else, Dr. J, Magic Bird, they're all off center. It was really frustrating, the 86 Flair. So there is not a lot of Jordans that are 10s. But I ended up getting a 87 Jordan because it was $100, but I'll show it to you. It's a lot more center. It's a lot more chance it's a 10 than the 86s were. But so you got to become your own grader. And if you understand the 4 points I just told you, now you go to a card show, but now you know what the Montana's 125. So if you find a nicely centered Montana, that's the original 81 and not a reprint that they do. Be careful if the price is too cheap. Make sure you got the original year, not this 2011 reprint year or whatever. So you have that, and that's how you make good money. You make better money there than in the stock market. If you know what you're doing, you go get a nice Willie Mays or a 65 Mantle. PSA 9 is 60,000, right? So we look at our Mantle card, right? 60,000. Okay, PSA 9. Good luck finding it centered because that was also incredibly difficult. I went through a lot. This now look at the top and bottom. It looks a little bit high on the top. It's not 50-50. The side to side is, but the top to bottom's not. There's too much white on the bottom of the Mantle than on the top. Now you're starting to get the idea how hard it is to get a PSA 10. There's not a lot of them. However, this is a $60,000 card. that you could have got, I could have got for maybe $300-400, which I would have, and I looked to get one as nice as this. Nicely centered was hard. The corners have to be sharp. Not if you get the corner that's dinged or it's not sharp, that kills you right there. So the corners are sharp, the centering's a little off, and then the picture. No ink marks, no scratches, and a nice picture. And so that's you could get that for $300 or $400, that card. Provided, well, look at gold. You could have got for $37.71. In 90, it's probably 300. Oh, this was 250 an ounce for gold in 95, so I could have got gold for 250. But that's the difference. So I'm pulling all these cards out of my ass that were $50-75, but I knew to get mint condition cards, right? I knew to get the Montana as pretty as I could. And if it was way off center, I didn't buy it. And I would just be patient and wait for a nicely centered Montana 81 rookie, Jerry Rice, Marino, Elway. They're not as strong as Montana. That's where you want the superstars. And because of the demand, there's much more demand for Marino than Montana, or Montana than Marino, because Marino never won anything. And Montana won 4 Super Bowls and didn't throw a fucking interception. And Marino didn't do shit. He got to the 1 Super Bowl against Montana. Montana killed him. And that was it. So that's where the coach came in. Bill Walsh outcoached Don Shula by 5 miles. I mean, you think Don Shula's a good coach, then what do you think of Bill Walsh, who killed him, right? He's the good coach, Bill Walsh. Anyway, so that's what you have and that's why it's the demand. Why do people want gold? Because it's money and it's limited in supply, and the demand is much higher than that. Everybody knows it's money and it looks beautiful, and the demand's huge, and the supply you can't make more of it, right? It comes out of the earth, and if you can find it, and that's it. You dig for it and you find it, or you don't. That's it. And there's not a lot of it you're digging up, right? So gold has the demand, ergo the price, and the demand and the price don't match. That's what this idiot bird cartoon man doesn't quite get. He doesn't get the demand, and he thinks it's insurance. It's not insurance. Why the fuck do people think gold's insurance? It's not. It's money. It's an asset. It's an investment, just like everything else. You want it to go up. You're buying it to go up. It just doesn't offer a dividend. Instead, it moves like today, $35. Or you could be in Coke and you get your 3% dividend. And I don't know what that gives you. But what do you vampiring me? I remember, Beckett, you remember those baseball card price guides. No case for the Bobby card. Joe Montana, great card. Yeah, okay. Well, what are you telling me, Greg and John? We have a conversation, Greg and John. You're not giving me a conversation. You just basically comment. I don't know what you're doing. I could have Jordan's rookie cards, but yeah, I had one, but it was off center. Well, it's finding a good centered one is almost impossible because there probably aren't 50 of them. Why did they make the cards so messed in that off the presses messing up the card? So I guess you're asking why are all the cards off centered? Marino never had a defense. He had a great arm and talent. Well, they screwed up because there was no quality control. I mean, this is tops. These are all tops, 65, the 68, the Montana cards, the Marino cards, the Rice cards. All of those were tops. That's why the Bobby is not a tops. It's a Dunros. So this is now 87. they started making it, which made tops have more quality control. But before that, it was all you could get. You wanted that Mantle card, it's only in tops. And you want Montana, it was only in tops, or Pete's Boy Scouts cookies or something threw the card in or something. But basically, the card you're looking for are tops. Montana, Merino, Elway, Rice are only in tops. That's why they didn't do a good quality control. Maybe they did it on purpose and printed off the first 50 perfectly centered for themselves, and then printed all the rest shit. So it'd be very hard to find nicely centered ones that they tops people kept. Maybe that's what they did. I don't know how they could fuck up and not make sure their cards are centered. That just doesn't make any sense. Marino never had a defense. He had a great arm and talent. Well, the problem with Marino is even if he had a great defense, you're not going to win with him because he throws too much. And when you get into a game, into the red zone, you're fucked. And you're not resting your defense because you're not running the ball. So what does he do? First and goal, first and 10 at the 15. How many touchdowns is he going to throw? 0. How much rest is his defense going to get when you make 3 quick passes? You're down to the 15, and it's Miami. It's hot, and your defense had 2 minutes to rest. Yeah, how good are they going to be? That's why Marino didn't win. It goes hand in hand. If you're not running the ball, you don't have a great defense. Dan Fouts had a great defense at San Diego, but he just threw and threw, and they never rested their defense. That's why KC, they rested. When you run the ball like that, they rested. Brady was a lot of short passes. His defense had a lot of rest. It's the quarterback, if he doesn't run and take a 6-7 minute drive to rest his defense and score in the red zone because you got a running attack that can score, then you're fucked. And that's why Dan Fouts never won. That's why Marino never won. That's why Elway didn't win until he had a running attack. And there was a very weak league. The AFC was very weak once the Raiders went down. So when there was Elway, you had no Raiders, you had no Steelers. There was nothing there. So he beat a bunch of shit, which is like Brady beat a lot of bad teams. He did get a few good wins, but Baltimore and Pittsburgh will give him the game. But that was it. But how often did he play them, right? TK, you need a case for that Bobby card. Nah, he doesn't. He's not worth enough for a case. My cases are in the expensive cards. Mahomes, Mantle, cards with an M in it. Mahomes and Mantle and Mercury Morris. No, I'm just kidding. Willie Mays. So I don't have that many cases left because I put a lot in. Because all my Jordans were worth $300-400 for my hoops Jordans that you'd get for $2, and now that's the real mind blowing. The 90 hoops Jordan, a nothing card, overproduced, but he goes and wins 6 titles in a PSA 10 for a hoops Jordan card in 1990 or even 91 are worth $400 or $500 as PSA 10s. It's nuts. I'm starting to see card values drop, but I think it's because people need the money, so they're just taking it. So you've got to understand this now. Let's open your minds. As money becomes worth less and less, people aren't getting raises and or aren't keeping their jobs. So you're out of work. What do you get? Unemployment? What do you got? Savings? So you go and you got to go to the grocery store and you got to pay your rent. You got to have food and this and this and this. And so to do that, you are, you don't have enough money because everything's costing, because the money's worth nothing. And so some of the costs have gone up, not all. Again, in the market, if it can, it does. If you can't sell it, it won't. So don't say because prices are going up on they won't go up on everything, and they will come down, and it's got nothing to do with deflation. It's people don't have the money for it, and aren't in like a car. Nobody's buying a car now, or like Coca-Cola got to $3, and everybody's saying "fuck you," and to stay competitive, Coke lowers its price to $2.50. Doesn't mean inflation's gone. The company's trying to stay in business, is what they're doing. So again, that's really what you have to understand. So as people are, hey, we're pretty high. I got to feed the kids. I got to pay the rent. I'm not working because of this recession that we're in. I'm going to sell some cards, and they take whatever. And when they do that, they then they'll take whatever for the card. So it's a $500 card, and they put it on auction, and nobody's got money to really pay $500 for it, so they pay $200, and you take it because you need it. But now the value looks like it's only worth $200, even though it was $500. So you got to take that into consideration. That's part of what's happening. And then excuse me. So that's why sometimes they'll call it deflation. It's not, it doesn't exist. It's not a real word or theory. Prices go down because of the market. As I said at the beginning of the class, I put this on eBay, I get $5,000 because there's only 50, and he's won 3 Super Bowls, and it's Mahomes. He's popular. Everybody likes him. So he's worth $5,000. Now I go up, put up an auction. People need money. So I need money. I got this for $5,000. I want to get $5,000, but you know what? I'm going to take whatever. And you get $4,000 for it because people can't afford the $5,000. They're spending the other grand on rent and food. And this goes to $4,000. That's not deflation. It's the market saying, I can only afford $4,000 for it. So the price goes down. What does that have to do with deflation or inflation for that matter? The price is down because the market says it's down. It goes, nope, I'm only going to give you $4,000. And the buyers aren't going to give you 5. So it goes to 4. It's all strictly the market. Now there's outside forces like the inflation causing the recession, causing the stock market crash, causing the housing crash, all this problem due to the inflation caused by the government. And it just leaves you less money because it's not worth as much. So the value drops because of the market, not because of the deflation. Indirectly, the money being worth less means I got the same amount of money will buy me less. The purchasing power is down because of the inflation. It hurts the value of my dollar. Okay, well, with that said, so I have less dollars. So I got $100,000, but now $100,000 doesn't only buys what $20,000 did. So the value of the $100,000 has dropped. So therefore, I got to buy food and shelter, and then I don't have much left for the Mahomes card. But it's the people selling the Mahomes card that the buyers are not as strong because they need money for other things. They can't, when everything's going great, I got all this extra money, I'm going to buy Mahomes card. But when it's not, when all of a sudden it's money's tight, then the values of the cards drop. Now gold's different because it is money. So as the money becomes worthless, people will sell their money to get out of the money, and then they'll buy gold as a replacement for as gold would be the real money and would keep the value. I guess that's what they mean by insurance. You're insuring your dollar. So when they fuck up and print it to 0, you'll have this money, but in no way is it insurance. If we understand insurance, I have car insurance. So if my car gets into an accident, the insurance company will repair it. Okay, so as my dollar loses value, how is gold insurance? How is gold repairing my dollar? No, gold is becoming the dollar and having the value. It's not insurance at all, not by the technical nature of what we just called insurance. So the reason you're buying gold is because it will hold its value, because it is an asset, it is an investment, and it can't be printed. It's limited and it's highly demanded, like a Mantle card, like a Mahomes card. The Mahomes card probably won't go down. It's always probably going to be a value, just like Mantle. That $60,000 Mantle card ain't going anywhere. It's only going up. And it's a PSA 9 because of the centering top to bottom. If that was centered better, that would have been a 10, unfortunately. It's a poor guy. Probably lost $1 million. Because I would imagine a PSA 10, and this is where my thing is, a PSA 10 Montana is 125 grand we see. The PSA 9 Montana, I think, is like 10 grand. So you can see, so imagine what the Mantle 9 is 60,000, what the 10 goes for. I would say somewhere in the neighborhood of 700,000-800,000, if not $1 million, because it's a 10. And the demand for a 10 is higher because it's a 10. The supply is much lower. So a lot of things you got to realize, the demand. Why is this card more valuable? Because it's the demand for the player. So A, it's the player, and B, it's the 50 count. That's going to bring up a higher market and more demand because of who it is and what is limited. And so with the Mantle card, it's who it is and it's even more limited. And people go, oh my God, I can get a Mantle 10 PS 1965 tops. That thing's got to be worth $1 million. If you're getting 60 grand for the 9, you're getting 60 grand for the 9 because they can't find the 10 because it probably doesn't exist. I would be shocked if there was a 10, because I looked through a lot of 65s, and believe me, if I would have saw a mint card like by Willie Mays, might be a 10. I've shown you that. I'll show you again. A 65, I got the same card and a Willie Mays, man, and that is beautiful. I got a 61 Roger Maris, the year he hit 61 homers. That is a fucking beautiful card. I'll show you that. That's a 10. And it's 61, so it's the year he hit 61 homers. And unless the Yankees fans are all pissed because he broke Babe Ruth's record, hopefully not. But being a Yankee adds a lot of demand and a lot of market to it. So I'm curious to see what that's worth. But we'll see. Get them graded and then get 10s, and then we'll also be retiring. But again, it's going to be, when that happens, you're going to be that's what you want. But then, you see, what you got to understand, again, CEOs can print a lot more money than if you're on the gold standard. The gold standard, gold hasn't overtaken the dollar yet, and gold has been around forever. What do you mean by it hasn't overtaken the dollar? Sure it has. Good luck grading these cards. Hope you don't get scammed by the company. Watch the movies, whatever. So what's happening? Why are we even on the fiat currency? Why are we printing money? Why aren't we just using gold-backed currency like we did in the 1800s, and then we did again in the 1940s to 1970s, and then we get off? Why? Why are we not using gold-backed currency? And the answer is because they're all crooks, and the crooks have better can print and print and print all they want. And they're not smart enough to realize the money's worthless, right? So you're playing with monopoly money, but they're not smart enough. So, I'm Don Corleone and I got $1 billion. Well, it's monopoly money, but they don't understand that. They should be on a gold standard, but they can print the fiat money. They can print this to death. And in the meantime, put $1 trillion in their pocket thinking they've actually got $1 trillion. And that's why, because you can't print, if this is gold, you can't print this. This is what it is. I can print this and print it and print it and print it. So I've got trillions of these. So they're basically worthless. This I can't print. So if I'm the mafia or Soros or somebody like that, I want this so I can print it and print it and print it. Not this. What Soros gave this 5 million to this and 50 million to that. We couldn't do that with the gold standard because there's only so much out there, and he wouldn't have that much of it. He'd have a lot less because there would be a lot less dollars to go around. It would be gold, but it wouldn't be, he wouldn't be able to give $50 million away because the amount of gold would be limited to the amount of gold coins or gold bars that you have to print. So, with that said, that's why they have the fiat currency, not the gold standard. But only a few of us can really understand the game to warn you about. Most people don't have a clue. Now we get into, I was listening on the car to the Lion bullshit, how they're thinking of signing Jared Goff to $45 million a year. And I thought about it and I said, what doesn't matter? It's monopoly money. What he's getting is worthless. So it's ironic that they signed this big contract and it's basically worth nothing. 45 million won't buy anything. Unless he's smart enough to ask for gold, but I doubt this guy is. And as Bobby knows, trying to get gold from the New York Mets for his contract is difficult. It's funny, Bobby thought he was doing a good thing by doing his contract over 30 years, 35 years, and he screwed himself. I would have fired the attorney because basically he's getting inflated dollars. So the million he got in 2000 or whatever, the first year of it, is worth a lot more than he's getting, now if he's still in the contract. So I feel bad for Bobby, and I told him to try to get gold instead of the dollars. And what's he going to do when the dollar goes out? Now, I don't know how much longer the dollar will be here. It should be gone now, but the guys running the Ponzi scheme want to keep it because then they'll realize they don't have anything, just monopoly money. So if the dollar goes out now, Warren Buffett, who has, $2 billion, basically has nothing. The dollar's gone. He basically has nothing. He's just too stupid to understand it. But if the dollar stays around, he keeps the little Ponzi scheme going for a little bit longer. How the Ponzi scheme survived this far when it was basically done in 1980 and then again in 2008, it should have been bye-bye blues. So how it survived this extra 15, 16 years, but it's it. This is the end. It's over. Game, set, match, poof, dollar gone. So all these baseball players are, Jared Goff, they're signing nothing. Are they smart enough to ask for it in gold? Would be my question. I would take 10 million in gold over $40 million. Oh my, these guys are just so stupid. And again, they don't understand because George Soros won't let it be taught about gold or economics. And if George Soros won't let it be taught, nobody gets taught and nobody realizes what I teach you. How strong that is. I'm going to look for a conference room to do this in live. Again, people need to hear this. Plus, I could make some money teaching, as opposed to here. I don't make any money, but I could use some money to teach this. So, and I still think it's extremely valuable, and people just don't have a clue. I can see people coming into class going, "Oh my God, where's this coming from?" So I'm going to check. I checked the Sheraton, but they never got back to me. They didn't understand the question. There's a bunch of idiots behind the desk says, "Can I talk to whoever reserves the rooms?" And she made some comment. She didn't get it. Like, I'm trying to teach in the room, and I want to. She never got it. So I'll have to try another hotel. But those are probably the best places where you have a hotel, you have a conference room, and you can put 50, 60 people in and teach economics. Greg and John, vampiring all over. You need a case for that Bobby card. See, now here Greg and John doesn't get it. TK, gold hasn't overtaken the dollar. That's not a true comment. And I don't know why, after watching my class, you would come up with something with that comment. Why do you think, I don't know if he's still here, gold hasn't overtaken the dollar yet, and gold has been around forever. It sucks. That's not a true statement. It takes $21.50 or $21.20 to buy an ounce of gold. If it hadn't overtaken, it would take 10 ounces of gold to buy the dollar. Then your statement would be true. But by saying it like that, you don't understand. That's why it costs $2,100 for gold. Well, I mean, I'm not going to be stupid getting the cards graded, but I don't know. Can they, how badly they can scam you? I'm not sure. Anyway, so that's the other thing. These guys signing these contracts, these big dollars, it's the stupid, it doesn't have a value. Because they're getting dollars, and dollars don't have a value. So this is like gold, a nice gold color. Maybe there's gold in here. That'd be nice. That would be the only reason I'd open it, is to get the gold out. So keep that in mind. Gold is, it's not insurance, and as long as somebody's willing to buy it and somebody's willing to sell it, you have a market. The idea is to build the market. So Mahomes can do it, winning another Super Bowl. He won. That's why you have all this advertising for, Tom Cruise did that movie, and he did Porsche. There is no substitute. That was to get you to buy a Porsche, because you're sitting there going, there's nothing like it. So if I want a Porsche, if I want a sports car, I'm going to get a Porsche. Not a Ferrari, not a Mercedes, not a Lamborghini. I'm going to buy a Porsche. There is no substitute, means that's what I talk about, right? I could substitute a Toyota with a Honda, or a Ford with a Toyota, or a GM, or whatever. But I can't substitute a Porsche, is what he's trying to say. That means I can charge more, because you're going to see the price. There's nothing you can do. Like I talk about with Mercedes, I don't know if there's competition for Mercedes. Now there's Ferraris and Porsches and nice cars, but I think if you really want a Mercedes, you get a Mercedes. That's the one thing in Germany I noticed. There's a lot of Mercedes, and I didn't see any Toyotas or Fords or GMs. Everybody and their mother had a Mercedes. But, and this is where Germany's struggling now, is the whole manufacturing sector is to get keep the Mercedes in action. And I think their cars aren't being traded to China and countries that like the Mercedes. Like Russia loves the Mercedes. I noticed that too. All the mafia drive Mercedes in Russia. You can always tell the difference. If I'm there with Daria and we're driving a Camry, we're not in the mafia. But if you see a Mercedes drive by, they're in the mafia. They have the Mercedes because they don't have a budget. That's funny. And then in all these countries, you can tell the mafia they're in Mercedes. Mercedes, car of the mafia. Oh, good. I want one then. There is no substitute for that. But it's all about marketing, right? Demand for Mahomes, but it comes in different flavors. I won 3 Super Bowls and I have 50 of me. Ooh, a lot of demand. I did steroids and I'm not in the Hall of Fame and there's only 100 of me, but I did steroids and there goes Barry Bonds. No demand, unfortunately, which doesn't make any sense. So gold, well, let's see. It's very limited. There's huge demand. Central banks are buying it. And all the central banks are buying it, and then demand's huge. It's big enough that Comex sits there and it's big enough that Comex feels they have to keep the price down on gold. That's how big the demand is, that Comex even has to do all these derivatives to keep the price down. That might have been GM. We'll see. So if you don't, the question is, do you think gold has demand or not? And so you kind of, do the T and, positives, pros, cons. Pros, it's real money. It's limited. There's high demand for it. And Comex writes derivatives against it to keep the price down, which they would only do if there was huge demand. Central banks want it. Cons, the mafia and George Soros can't print as much as they want like they can with fiat currency. That's the con. That's the only con, is with gold, you can't print it because you have to have as many dollars as gold, right? It goes hand in hand. I got to check my email. So it goes hand in hand that you can only do it. Too many tabs open. You can only print as much gold as you have dollars. So you can only print $1 billion if you have $1 billion worth of gold. That's why I don't understand why they just don't raise the price of gold higher, and then you could have more money because it would be worth it. So I don't quite follow that one. So that's the pros and cons of gold. Just think of gold, you think of Mahomes. Highly demanded, very limited in supply. It is money. It's not insurance. It's an asset first. It's going up in value. So I guess that's what makes it an investment. I hate when people say it's not an investment or it doesn't go up. It's the dollar coming down, which is horseshit. Well, so if the dollar comes down and this goes up in value, is this not an investment either? Like, what the fuck are they talking about? Is George Bush in with them? He's too stupid to be in with them. But yeah, basically, he's a Soros guy. Gold is money. That's what I've been teaching. Yes, gold is the real money. See, gold's the only money. This is not money. This is an IOU. This is fiat. We believe in, if the government says it's worth the value, it is. That's what this is. This is not real money. This is fiat, which is government. It's like let there be light. It's just it's because government says it's worth something. It is. Where gold's actually worth something. Gold's the only money. But why aren't we using gold as money? And that's what I tried to explain, because they can't print gold to death. They can print the dollar to death. So this is just an instrument where they say, well, we'll use this. And then, all the mafias start, let's print 1 billion of them. Let's just keep printing. Now, there was one analogy that I thought of today that I'm very proud of. So here you got this idiot saying, well, the house burnt down, but I have insurance. So I think he means if gold goes to 5,000, the stock market crashes. My question is, why are you in the stock market? I told you it's going to crash 2 years ago. I don't know how it hasn't crashed yet, but if you're in the market, you're an idiot. So I don't know what else it means. I mean, your house you'd still have the house. I don't know. What's he talking about? So it dawned on me that who is running NASDAQ for all these years? It was Bernie Madoff. And so now it helps you understand Wall Street. It's a bunch of Bernie Madoffs running around scamming you, real estate, trust, Attack on Wall Street guy, all these movies, The Big Short, The Little Short, Batman, in The Big Short, and I did like Margot Robbie in The Bubble Bath. She was adorable. And all of that is Madoff was running NASDAQ. I mean, if that isn't clear cut of the cat swallowing the canary, whatever you want to call it, how do you trust Wall Street when Madoff was running NASDAQ? Did they not know Madoff was running a Ponzi scheme? Oh, I bet they all knew Madoff was running a Ponzi scheme. We know J.P. Morgan knew. We know the S&P, the SEC knew. We know all these people knew he was running a Ponzi scheme. We know the idiot at Boston who kept trying to be the bell ringer or whatever you call it. And nobody would listen to him because, like, dude, shut the fuck up. We're all making money on the Ponzi scheme, but you shut the fuck up. And they're all making billions of dollars Ponzi scheming everybody, which is what happens now on Wall Street. They're all making a ton of money because you're all suckers playing stocks, bonds, mutual funds, whatever, dealing in money instead of in gold. And you're all going to get what you got coming, including cartoon guy who thinks gold's insurance and doesn't understand it. Probably a broker or something. This is why I laugh at the brokers and why I really detest them, because they don't care about you. They only care about themselves. Their only thing is to make commissions and screw you, and then they make commissions. That's what a broker is. They're assholes. They don't care about you. Then what the fuck are they doing in business? What do I do? Buy gold. Do I get commission? No. Do I sell any to you? No. Because I care about you. I don't sit there and try to fuck you over by selling you stocks that are all going to crash when the whole world sells their U.S. money and bring it back into brick, or maybe they're waiting for the brics gold. That'll be when the brics gold comes out. Nobody will be in the U.S. dollar, including the U.S. I guess that the brics will be the reserve currency. So here we'll get rid of dollars, we'll get brics. I don't know how else it'll work. Again, Soros trying to bankrupt the U.S. because he's sad that the Nazis lost. I showed you that clip yesterday, the Monument Men, where there was a millions and millions of dollars of art stolen in salt mines, and then all that gold that they had stolen. And the funny part is, Hitler said if they lose the war, to burn it all. He didn't even want to give it back. He's like, no, if I can't have it, nobody can have it. Now, the biggest thing is Hitler did not die in the bunker. I don't know why everybody keeps persisting he did when there's no proof. You don't see a body. He's a multi-millionaire with all these golds and paintings. Do you fucking think he's going to kill himself? Well, why would he do that? If I'm sitting on 5 tons of gold, I ain't killing myself. I got 5 tons of gold to spend. At 32,000 ounces a ton, there's no fucking way I'm killing myself. I might die. Somebody might kill me, but I'm not killing myself. Hitler was not killing himself with all that gold and artwork. He took it all to Argentina. There's no fucking way he killed himself. I see he had a kid with Eva Braun, and as far as I know, he lived in Argentina until 1961, and then got killed by Martin Bormann. So I don't understand why these people say he died in the bunker when you can't prove it. I don't. Where's the proof? One guy thinks, and I really hate this guy, he says, well, the dental records matched. Oh, so they couldn't switch the dental records to the guy who got burnt. You think they're that stupid? So if I want to fake my own death, I get a dead guy and I get his dental records, and then I torch him because no one looks for a dead man. We saw it on Money Heist. We saw it on Die Hard. If you steal $300 million, they will look for you unless they think you're already dead. So what did Hitler do? They're not going to look for me if they think I'm already dead. And if I show them a burnt person and leave the dental records of the burnt person and call him Adolf Hitler, yeah, chances are people will think I'm already dead. Or did he pay off the people to think that? Certainly had the money to do that. Here's a couple tons of gold. I'm dead. Yep. Yeah, Hitler's dead. And the Russians, believe me, would take the gold. So he never died in the bunker. It's the stupidest analogy, especially when you see Monuments Men and see all the gold. He had the whole fucking room. He probably had, 10,000 tons at least in that room. And you're going to kill yourself? There's no fucking way. You don't think they took a few thousand tons out and moved them to Argentina? Come on, man. Don't be stupid. And they worked with the Vatican was with the Nazis because they were against communism. So Hitler worked with them saying, we're going to stop communism because communism doesn't want religion. They don't want Catholics or Christians or whatever you want to call them. And that's why they burn all the synagogues and churches. They don't want religion. So that's where you have a lot of that. So I honestly don't know. I just see it. And if you just use fucking logic, nobody's killing themselves with 50,000 tons of gold. You're going to kill yourself? Really? Yeah. Oh, okay. I got some oceanfront property here. I mean, that's fucking impossible. People have come to the conclusion because of the dental record are probably the stupidest people in the world. I saw the dental records. Why would they lie? Because if they think you're already dead, they won't come looking for you. Don't you watch Die Hard and the Money Heist. Are you fucking kidding me? So really, that's the point. Well, anyway, so like the Nazis with all the gold, why did they collect gold? Because everybody knows it has great value. And they went to the gold standard in the 40s. They just got off of it because the criminals wanted to print. See, you can print as much as you want. Problem is, everybody gets their hand in the till, printing until not understanding the golden rule. You keep printing and gold will rule again because you've made it worthless. So as you keep printing the money, it's basically worthless now. Now all these fine moron stockbrokers who do these YouTube shows are fucking clueless and have no idea. And that's why the dollar goes out, because they keep printing and printing and printing and not understanding. You keep printing, it goes to zero. We understand that, and that's why we're in line buying gold hand over fist. One of the lifeguards in the pool today showed me, I had two lifeguards. One on Saturday, he came up to me, said, I bought a little more than a quarter ounce, and that it's like 0.33. So there's a quarter ounce is 0.25, the half ounce is 0.5. So he's right in the middle at 0.33. He paid $900 for it. I said, I just got a quarter ounce, but I don't know. He was going to buy, I told him to buy it. I think there was an eagle there. I said, why didn't you buy? He didn't want it because it was US. I said, just buy it. Or no, he said he didn't buy it because it wasn't $9.99. I said, who cares? You don't need $9.99. You need 1 ounce of gold. And if it's American or, only the Maple Leafs $9.99, but in gold, $9.97 is fine. The Cougaran, it's what it means is if it's $9.99, it's 99% gold, 9.99 gold, 0.01 zinc or copper or something. But if you buy an Eagle at 97, it's 97% gold, 3%. But it's still 1 ounce of gold. Even though it's mixed with 3% of zinc and 97% of gold, it's 1 ounce of gold. So when you're creating the coin, it's give me 1 ounce of gold, check. Give me 0.3 ounces of zinc, check. And then you mix and make the coin because it'll be more sturdy. But there's still 1 ounce of gold in the coin. And the same with the Cougaran. It's like 91 or 93, but it's still 1 ounce of gold. It's just mixed with other things to keep it stronger. Because when you put the zinc and the whatever brass or whatever in it, it makes the coin stronger. It loses a little color. That's why the Cougarans aren't as bright. Like when you see the Maple Leafs, those are fucking really shiny. You go look at that, go, wow, this is shiny. The American Eagle's pretty fucking shiny. The Cougaran, sometimes you see them are a little duller, but it's because they're like 93% gold. It doesn't mean there's not an ounce of gold in it. It's still 1 ounce of gold in the coin. This is 18 karat, which means gold at 2,000, I'll get 1,500 for it. But what this means, this is an ounce, but it's not an ounce of gold. It's 86% gold, 14% zinc and other alloys. That's why you don't get the full ounce of gold for it. This would have to be 24 karat. So 24 karat's pure, but they don't make it 24. So they usually mix it. Most of them are 18 or 14, which means it's an ounce, but it's only 14% gold, or in this case, 18% gold. And that's why I get 75% for this, even though I paid 2 ounces of gold for it. So my cost was $550. Gold at the time was $250. So I thought I had 2 ounces of gold, but it's only 1 ounce. This whole thing's 1 ounce of that 18 of the 24 carats is gold. The other 6 carats, other thing. And that's why I don't get it. That's why I recommend if you're going to spend more, just get if you're buying it for what purposes we're buying it, buy the coins. or the bars, but I'd prefer the coins. But you're not, if you buy the jewelry, you're getting fucked because you're paying more than the ounce. Right now, the ounce is what, 21.20. It'll cost you $4,000 for a nice gold chain. What the fuck? For $4,000, I could have bought 2 ounces I could have bought 2 ounces of gold instead of who needs the fuck? Now, in 1995, this is my graduation present, but do I need, had I known now, I would have bought 2 ounces of gold and been merrily away. I didn't need the chain, but I wanted to buy gold. So that's why I bought this. And it reminds me, it's my master's, it's my graduation present that I bought for myself. Like I said, for my birthday, I'll go play poker. Whatever I end up with, I'll go to the coin store and buy gold and that'll be my birthday present. It's funny. I get the girls' birthday presents, but they don't get me, and I get on them. If they don't give me like happy birthday, I get on them. Like, what the fuck? You can at least say that. But yeah, it's weird. I don't get birthday presents from anybody. It's just really weird. I don't know why. Are they afraid of me or what? I am stoic and an INFJ and a Pisces, so I guess I am pretty scary. Or I intimidate a lot, I guess. I don't know. Never thought about it really. But anyway, so that's what we're doing. The gold is the money and is the demand and is not insurance. Look, how the fuck can it be insurance? So when they blow the dollar away, this replaces your dollar? No. I mean, I can't even comprehend it. Like I said, you have house insurance. So if there's a damage to your house, they will fix it. How is that? How is this insurance on money? I have an ounce of gold. The money, I don't lose it. I don't burn it. It goes to zero because of the idiots running the government. But how is gold insurance? I don't get it. It's not technically by definition, it's not insurance. I didn't insure $1,000 so I have an ounce of gold. So I'm insuring $2,000 of my money. So if the money goes to zero, I have an ounce of gold and I want $2,000 back. Well, that's not what's happening. The asset, the gold asset that's actually money is whatever the value is. So if it's $5,000, it's not. How is it insurance? These guys are so bad. It's just really sickening. It is not insurance. It's a different type of money. And when it goes up, you're happy it goes up. Why would I be sad it goes up? Now, people that are stuck in money lose all their value. Okay. Everybody that bet San Francisco in the Super Bowl lost their money. Did they not take out insurance? I mean, I don't get what the fuck. Okay, the world is going to end and you won't need gold. Where's the world going, Greg and John? Kind of stupid comments that. And I won't need gold. We'll always need gold. Doesn't make sense. You're not listening, Greg and John. I'm going to put you in the corner. But that's really what's happening. It's not insurance. Is a Rolex insurance. I want to keep gold equal to Rolex and the Mahomes card and the Mantle card. It's the same thing. It's an asset. It's got value because there's demand and a market for it. It is an asset. It has value. It's not insurance. It's not more insurance than my chain. It's not more insurance than. How is this any more or less insurance than gold? It's the same thing. It's an asset with a value, and people bid on it to make the price, to determine the price. It's not insurance. That's the problem. People don't know. They make stupid comments because they hear somebody else make it. And then people go, oh, isn't this guy smart? He knows that gold's insurance. No, you're an idiot. Gold is not insurance. In what form is it insurance? If my dollar goes out, my dollar, I'm not going to get my dollar back. If I get into a car accident and I got insurance, I got a bumper and I got a dent, they fix the dent. That's insurance. If I damage my car, my house, that's insurance. But I'm not damaging the dollar. The dollar's worthless. So how am I? It's not damaged. Our government killed it. So what are they going to do? Pay everybody back? That would be insurance. I mean, I guess that's what the FDIC is, insurance. Where if you have $100,000 in the bank and the bank goes out of business, then you've got $100,000. They owe you $100,000. That's insurance. What does that got to do with gold? Just stupidity. Greg or John, you just don't get it, do you? All right. So anyway, what else? Let's see. Let's go to my notes. Government is solely responsible for the business cycle. That's the 13-step thing I told you about. They fuck around with interest rates, which causes the markets to get all fucked up. If you just invisible hand and let the markets go and get out of the way, everything's fine, as you should with gold. See, here's a perfect example. Because of the market interference by the government, JP Morgan, keeping the gold price at 2,050, now 2,100. Because JP Morgan did that, you don't know the real price. And because now you realize it's too low, people will jump in. Eventually you'll get to the real price, but we don't know what the real price is because the government interferes with the market. That's why the government shouldn't be fucking around with interest rates or fucking around with the dollar or doing these fucking around with Comex. Let the market. See, the market's most efficient if you get out of the way, invisible hand, and just let people bid and sell, buy and sell gold. And we would see the real price, which we don't. And again, you've got to understand that. You've got to understand these things, that when you have interference, you don't have the real price. That's why I think gold's worth a lot more, is because of all the interference. And when it should be going higher, it's not. And that's why when alligator goes, it's not gold going up, it's the value of the dollar going down. And I go, no, because if that was the case, it should be invisible hand. It should be, let's bid and sell it. And that's the price. But we don't have anywhere near that. So the 2,100 is not anywhere near reality of what the gold price is, because it has been interfered with on the down, keeping the price down. So you don't know what the real price is. That's my argument. So on one hand, the ounce of gold, still the ounce of gold. So it was $37. Now it's 2,100. I get it. It's still the ounce of gold, which is what I think he's trying to say. But the problem is the ounce of gold of the 2050 is not accurate. That's what I'm trying to say. So, it's the dollar going down, but the price is not at free market. So that's where I am arguing with them. If we had the free market where you sell it and somebody buys it and get everything out of the way, invisible hand it, and then what's the price of gold? Then I would say, yes, you're right. And it would be 15, 20,000. Then we'd know that's the real price of gold. And then he could say, well, now it's the money coming down. But when you've had the interference, you can't say that. It's not true that the 2050 is not the accurate price. And that's why I get in and say 20,000, just judging by all the interference for 50 years, that's a conservative price. You've ruined the money, so it takes a lot more money because it's not worth anything. And so that's where I'm saying in today's money, it's got to be 20,000 easy, if not more. And again, it's inflated dollars. There was something I was looking at where I think it was like baseball salaries or football salaries, right? Al Kaline signed for $100,000 in 1973 or something. And imagine, and a guy like Al Kaline, so you put him in today, what are they getting? 40, $50 million? These superstar ball players? Well, what did Odessa get? What did he get? 50 million to go to the Dodgers to be a pitcher and an outfielder at the same time? Yeah. Oh, okay. So if he did that, that shows you how much inflation it is. So if it was 100,000 now is worth 50 million. Yeah, So Kaline did okay because back then 100,000 would have bought you a nice house and a nice car, and it's not like it is now. Yeah, it sounds like your life. You don't listen, Greg and John, and you're not following the conversation. I'm talking about gold, and you're talking about Greg Kelsey in Philadelphia. Listen to the conversation and try to understand what I'm telling you, and you're way ahead. You shouldn't be messed up. If you would listen and pay attention and figure it out, you'd be way ahead. You should be buying gold and silver, and then when the price goes to the moon, you can retire. You'll be filthy rich. So what you think is messed up, well, I'm not working. I got a call for a second interview with this company on Friday. I'm all excited. I'd like to at least get some sort of paycheck in. And, but I got all this gold and silver. So I'm just waiting for the gold price to go up. Am I messed up? Not really. I got Social Security, and then if I'm back to work, then I'll have all this money coming back in, and I'll buy more gold. But if your life is messed up, Greg and John, you have to figure out is why and what's the problem and how do I fix it? There's an answer to your problem, but you got to identify the problem. Why is it messed up? Are you being alligator? Well, you're a vampire anyway. Are you, whatever the problem is, you need to solve it. Right? So it's not hard. Just identify the problem and solve it. And buy gold and silver, and you'll be protected financially, which is a big burden, and then you'll be mostly fine. So it's all you can do. Identify the problem and solve it. And that's what I do better than anybody. It's different in poker and in football. The problem is picking the winner and, identifying in poker. So I'm going to go play poker Thursday. And the problem is how do these guys play, and what hand do I think why are they betting? So again, I was talking about rounders, and, Teddy FBI gets 15, gets pocket aces and checks, and Humpty Dumpty bets $600. And then he hits two pair, and he says, well, I better make it look good, without reading Teddy FBI, who then checks. And then he goes and bets 2,000 Matt Damon, because I have no idea. He didn't want to make it look like he had a strong hand and was checking, because Teddy KBG would smell it out. But Matt Damon didn't smell it out. He outsmarts himself. He bets $2,000. Teddy KBG checks. He calls. Then the turn comes. He gets the 9 for the full house. Teddy FBI gets the 9 for the full house. And Teddy KGB checks. and Matt Damon bets, also checks. So if he checked the turn and called the flop, didn't bet pre-flop, how the fuck is he bluffing? So now the river comes, a nothing, and Teddy FBI bets 15,000. He leads out. How is he bluffing? That's not a bluff card. And Matt Damon goes, well, I don't think you have the spades. In other words, I think you're bluffing with the spades. Was a horrible read because he didn't bet the turn and he didn't bet the flop. If I'm going to bluff, I'm betting on the flop, I'm betting the turn, and I'm betting the river. Absolutely. But if I check and check, I want to keep you in. I bet the turn, I got a full house, aces full of nines, I'm checking. And then on the river, I don't think you have the flush. Where are you getting that from? I'm not checking if I'm going to try to get the flush. And so he's got the bigger full house. But Matt Damon's like an idiot. Not only doesn't ask, why is he betting 15 grand? Maybe he's got a full house, goes and raises it, calls and raises it. You don't have the nuts. He's got the nuts. You don't have the nuts. What are you betting? And then he calls you. So not only could you have gotten away, without folding the 15 grand, calling the 15 grand, why would you raise it? And he's got aces. Where are your spider senses? You're the worst poker player I've ever seen in my life. You're playing your hand because you got a full house and that's it. And that's what what the fuck? That's not how you play. It's like us, okay? So let's take me. I'm telling you to buy gold. I buy gold and buy silver. I'm not playing my own hand. I'm playing their hand. I'm seeing, so their hand is we're printing the dollar to zero. So I understand that. So I go, how do I get out of it? Which is why I use Titanic. How do I get out of it? What is my move? You're betting your dollars, you're printing them to death. What is my out? My out's gold and silver. Your move, I called your move. I didn't go into gold and silver before you printed to death. I went in after you printed to death. You put me into gold and silver. That's how I played the hand, right? You're printing the money. It's girl. It's gold and silver. It's like the Titanic. You hit the iceberg. The water's coming in. I'm going to get out because the water's coming in because you hit the iceberg. So you're creating me to react. So if I'm playing poker with Teddy FBI and he goes and bets 15,000 and I don't have the nuts and he's checking, he checked the flop, he checked the turn. I bet $2,000 on the flop. He called, he didn't raise. We checked the turn and the three of spades comes and I think he's going to bet 15,000 with the flush. Wow. I should not be a poker player. Again, why are you betting so much? Does it look like a bluff? No, it doesn't. In no way does it look like a bluff. Because if it did, you'd bluff the flop and you would have bluffed the turn. You sure would have bluffed the turn. So you're trying to make it look like you got a flush, and he's saying, "Oh, I don't think you have the flush." He says, I don't know what you're talking about. I got a full house. I don't have a flush. And then why are you betting 15,000? Again, it goes back to how I teach you how to bet football. You don't bet your whole bankroll. So you got to bury your ego and say, even if I maybe have it won and he's betting 15,000 into me. So it's too big of a bet. I got to fold it. Even though I got 18,000, why do I want to make one bet with this? So he totally ignores, you don't play your cards, you play the opponent's, and you totally ignore check 15,000, which is 110% not a bluff. The bluff would have been bet flop, bet turn, Bet River bluff. So that would have been, now had he gone all in, had he gone check all in, maybe that's a bluff, but he didn't. He went 15 grand. He didn't try to bully you out. You then raise. What are you, out of your mind? What are you raising for? 15 grand isn't enough, and you're so sure you won that you lost. You don't have the nuts. So you've got to read everything, right? So when I go play poker, I'm going to read that, and I'm going to go, what's going on with the bets? And I don't assume I ever win a hand unless I have like 4 kings. If I got a straight, I don't assume I won. I play it careful. If I have a flush, if there's a pair on board, I'll check. Too many times, that's a full house. And so you got to watch the betting. And you got to watch who's doing the betting. Is he a bluffer or is he, a guy who's aggressive? With me, they have no fucking idea because I can play 12 different ways. But that's the thing. You don't want to. You've got to read and understand the game, and that's the key to it. So we're reading Mahomes, we're reading gold and silver, we're reading the market, we're reading cartoon characters. We're frustrated that they say stuff that's so stupid that it's why are they even on? And the host is saying how good they are, makes the host look like an idiot. No, they're not smart. The host looks stupid when he says that. It's the same thing with Mark McGuire. Oh, by popular demand. Nobody, what the fuck you talking popular demand? Who's asking for these morons? And you have the morons on, and like Bill Halter. He doesn't. All he does is he watches me and he steals Titanic, he steals Ponzi scheme, doesn't give me credit and doesn't even understand what he's stealing. He just hears it and he takes it, but he doesn't know what Titanic's about getting off the boat and getting onto the gold boat. And because it hit the iceberg, the water's coming in, the boat's going to sink. So you got to get off the boat because it's sinking, which is what's happening with the dollar. It's sinking, but he doesn't get the concept. Well, I guess you got to get off the boat, or it's sinking. He can't put 2 and 2 together. So really strange. Anyway, I think that's it. But I want you to get those concepts. Most of the time you have inflation throughout history, it's when they get off gold. The Romans, the Germans, the Rice Bank printed a lot of money, not on gold, caused the hyperinflation in Germany. So it's always about greed. It's about these guys thinking they can just print money. And if they just keep printing money, everything will be fine until it goes out, and then everybody goes back to gold, and it's just amazing. And then here we are, haven't learned shit, haven't done anything, have not learned from the Romans, from the Germans, from nobody, that you know what, gosh darn it, we can't print the money, it's going to go to zero. We've got to be careful printing the money, but we haven't learned that. And but who's learned it? The Russians, Chinese, and BRICS have learned it, right? So I want to go on their team because they have intelligence. You guys are a bunch of fucking idiots. We'll just keep printing. It's okay. Nothing will happen. It didn't hurt Rome. It didn't hurt Spain. It didn't hurt Amsterdam. It didn't hurt Germany. Not a problem. We'll just keep printing because we can see it's never been a problem. Okay. And you're running our country, right? Oh, my God. Anyway, that's about it. We had Greg and John. As we say to everybody, if you have a problem, figure it out. What's my problem? And then how do I solve it? And they're all solvable. Most problems are minor that you just, just need to figure out. I mean, it's just what is it, and then figure out your solutions, your options, and figure it out. I don't have a job. Okay, I apply for jobs. There's nothing I can do about it. All I can do is apply for jobs. But when I have jobs, what can I do? I can buy gold. So when gold goes up, I don't need a job. So that's how you solve the problem, right? Oh, I need to work to get money to pay my bills. Okay. How do I work? Well, I apply for jobs. Okay. And eventually I get one, and then I make money, and then I buy more gold and silver. So I'm covered. So I can do that. So anyway, waiting to hear from Daria. She had her first day of work at her new job. It's probably just another working at a store in Russia. They seem to probably be able to get jobs quickly there. The Putin plan and all the people that left because of the war. So there's probably a hole. So I want to hear how her first day went. And I put down the second week of June for our meet, and we'll see. So hopefully that'll be good. She does want to meet, which is great. We'll have a fun time, I'm sure. And looking forward to finally meeting her. It's funny that first meet, even though we've texted and WhatsApped and Skyped, and we know it's each other and we know how we are. It's just that the first meet's always nice. And that's about it. So enjoy your day. Solve your problems. I got more notes to go through. Inflation, repressed, creeping, latent, and imported. Interesting. I never thought about it like that. Wage and price controls. Creeping, that's what we have, 1% to 2% every year. Latent, increase of money from a cash crunch. And imported, all countries are fixed in one country. Actually, that's what we have because everybody has U.S. dollars. And that's why when all the dollars come home to roost, we're fucked now, but when you got $130 trillion outside the U.S. coming back, fuck it, you're dead. Then you think you're messed up, Greg and John. Wait till that happens, then everybody's messed up, except for us with the gold, not the insurance, but the gold and the silver. Fucking insurance, what is that? What is that? That's so stupid. Where do people learn this shit? Right, Keynesians? They're all Keynesians. That's how you spot a Keynesian. They talk velocity, deflation, or insurance, and it's a Keynesian, and you immediately go, "I'll never listen to this moron." The guy's got a cartoon face. The fuck is that, man? I guess you're hiding something. If you got a cartoon face, means you're probably pretty bad, pretty stupid. People obviously don't like you, so you wear a cartoon face. Just that way nobody beats you up when they see you walking down the street because you're an idiot. Oh my God. So I'd love to have debates with these guys, but they're too wimpy to do it. Nobody will want to debate me. I'm trying to look for Candace Owens. I think I'd like to be a guest on her show. She looks like somebody that would bring me on. I got to just find how to get a hold of her. But otherwise, these other guys are idiots. Nope, we don't want the professor on. He's too fucking smart for us. He might explain what's really going on. We don't want to learn that. We'll listen to Annette, whatever, and Cartoon Man. All right, everybody. I'm going to go eat. It's 5:00. www.teaserking.com. It's 70 degrees outside, so I'm going to go. I think I'll walk the lake tonight. Although I don't know how late it is out. It's funny, last thing, my birthday's March 7th, and it's amazing how many times, March 5th, 6th, 7th, it's like 75 degrees out. Because I mentally know, look at this, my birthday, it's 75 degrees. Then it's 30 the following week. But it's just funny how I kind of noticed that. All right, buddy boys, have a great day. www.teaserking.com. See you about 2:00 tomorrow. Have a good night. All right. Take care, everybody. Greg and John, fix your life.